Hey there, campers. It's your junior woodchuck counselor, Rob Hot Sauce Haynes. Do you like us in your ear holes each and every other week? We like being in them. And we'd love to be in the ear holes of your friends and family. And the only way we can do that is with a little help from you. Do us a solid and go to the podcast app of your choice that you're in right about now and rate, review, subscribe. It helps a lot for the algorithms for new subscribers, and reviews are apparently important. This is not for our ego. We're just trying to game the system. So, if you have bad things to say, we'll take them. That's fine. We don't have ego. We don't have self-image. No one gets into this shit because we're emotionally well-adjusted. So just do us a favor. Write us a review and subscribe. And tell the creepy kid in your life about Letters from Camp Blood. Thanks.
You are now listening to Letters from Camp Blood,
A retrospective look at the horror and genre films from the VHS era by two comedians that don't know what they're talking about. Hello again, everybody. Listening to Letters from Camp Blood, I am your junior woodchuck counselor, Rob Hot Sauce Haynes. Alongside me, as always,
a guy that basically just watched a pseudo documentary about Ed Gien, Josh Lewis.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
That's yeah. It was very sensationalist. I mean, it's the exploitation version of the movie, but yeah, we just screened a little ditty called Deranged from 1974 here at Salem's Lot. And
Yeah. So here's how we came to the idea of watching this. A while back, I bought a double feature, so to speak, DVD that had one side Motel Hell.
yeah.
Great.
Solid.
Fucking phenomenal. And then the other side, Deranged. And I just watched Motel Hell, put it on the shelf, didn't even think of it, decided to bring it over today, and, well, we watched it.
Yeah, we flipped it. And,
yeah.
Man, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all.
Wasn't a bad movie, no.
I think it was one of those things like you and I did. One of the rare times you and I had not even heard of a particular movie that still somehow managed to get a pretty wide release, because you bought this double disc like at a Best Buy or something like that.
It's one of the ones. It's a midnight movies double feature. You'll see them all the time, like the other ones that have like 15 horror movies on one disc, and you're like, oh shit. But this one had Motel Hell.
Yeah.
So you'd think the backing of it would be another really, really solid, fun movie.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the movie. I feel like I just went on a date with a girl, and I couldn't give you a reason why I don't want to see her again. But I know I don't. It just wasn't there.
Well, I mean, it was. I'm with you. Yeah. This kind of felt like The Town That Dreaded Sundown if they tried a little harder.
Absolutely, it did.
Because it had that like documentary cinema verite style.
Sort of, yeah. And it had a narrator, a dude that just did a trench coat that would just pop in awkwardly.
Yeah, who looked exactly like the dude from Flight of the Conchords' dad.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. See, now that makes more sense, because I was like, this guy looks like another guy, but at the risk of being like, this guy's a Jewish guy, and I know he is, and if I just start naming off other Jewishes, then I'm just going to sound like an ass.
Yeah. No, he looks like Jermaine Clement's weathered father.
A little bit. And he had those big, like, transition lenses glasses as well. If I could, I'll read the description on the back.
By all means,
that got us to watch this movie. Deranged. Ezra is good at making friends, ... into home furnishings. Based on the same terrifying true story that inspired Psycho, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Silence of the Lambs, this hauntingly scary film chronicles the grisly exploits of a rural necrophiliac and murderer. Variety. Wait, shit. Brace yourself for a, in quotations, solid horror story. And that's from Variety magazine.
Man, not wrong. It was solid. That's all you can say for it.
Yeah.
Solid story.
It was solid. Yeah, it happened. I mean,
Had a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Absolutely. The acting wasn't bad. There was one lady, the lady that tried to do the seance or whatever. That was silly.
That was silly, but again, it was kind of like she was a crazy person. So
yeah. So the main character Ezra is absolutely supposed to be Ed Gien.
Yeah.
Except he looks a little bit more like Jim Varney. He looks like he's very earnest.
He's like a creepy Ernest.
He's very creepy Ernest, and he just makes kind of weird faces. So there'll be somebody talking to him and be like, "Hey, Ezra, what'd you do today?" And the camera will pan over to Ezra, and he's just like contorting his face in different ways.
His face never quits twitching. It's just always
a lot of face acting.
Yeah. And man, let's give it up for fucking Ed Gien, if nothing else, for fucking inspiring the 3 horror movies that he did and what have you. And then also, man, he did make some fine handicrafts, some local artisanal.
Whenever you leave a man to his own devices.
I mean, yeah, he chose an interesting medium.
Very, very. I've never watched an interview with Ed Gien or anything like. Well, I don't even know if there is one.
I don't think there, because like, I mean, the Ed Gien murders, and I guess his career as a necrophile took place like in the late 40s, early 50s. So back then, like, there was no video. Like when the press wanted to do like an interview, they just took notes. Like there was not like a lot of video footage or film footage. Like you actually had to do film. So like you had to go out there and then film it and then send it for process. It was a very expensive thing. So when the news did show something on film, it was like a war or
it was something important they had to fucking show.
Yeah, something they had to document.
Yeah, and I guess this guy that inspired every fucking horror movie ever did.
You don't, but every time I've seen him like portrayed, it does feel kind of like this guy, and it's just kind of a wormy, just very milquetoast kind of,
just a big old weird kook.
Yeah, just a weirdo.
Yeah, but they wouldn't just. You said it while we were watching it. They obviously just didn't have enough money to pay the Gien family. Or whatever, like the Gien estate. So they're just like, we're just going to make an exact replica.
Yeah, wholesale. Like, I mean, even down to like at one point, like, how Ed Gien was caught, it was he murdered somebody. He murdered a lady at a hardware store, and how they traced him to it was a receipt for buying antifreeze. Yeah. And then in this movie, sure enough, he murders somebody in a fucking hardware store while buying antifreeze. Like it's like they did their, like it's like they just took the police file and like started copying it.
Absolutely.
And then like I said, changed it from Ed to Ez.
Yeah. So. We might as well just do this whole episode on Ed Gien.
On Ed Gien, yeah.
Because that's what we're going to do anyway.
It's not far from... I think Ed Gien only killed... you know what? Fuck it. Wikipedia's right here. But he's only really famous for 2 murders, and that was the barmaid and
and the clerk at the hardware store.
At the hardware store.
And this one, he kills 3.
He kills 3, and then he takes a bunch of bones home.
Yeah, he brings home a lot of dead old ladies, I guess trying to reconstruct his mother's face, which in the movie at least, he goes and digs up his mom, brings her home, goes, "Oh, you're looking rough." So he goes and he finds another lady's being buried, so he goes and gets her real quick and brings her home. And I thought he was, at one point it looked like he sawed off or cut all the face off of the other dead lady.
We cut enough of it off because he's made a mask of it that pops up in the movie.
Yeah, but I thought he was making that for his mom.
He did that, yeah, like he would stitch pieces off. Like,
from other dead people's faces.
Other dead people's faces.
But it was just a nose and like an eyebrow.
Yeah. Well, you just take what you need.
It's true.
Well, that was the thing about like Ed Gien, most of his fucked up, creepy, weirdo shit wasn't the 2 murders. He was a grave robber.
Yeah.
And he did have a certain amount of respect for the graves that he would rob, because he would only... Most people that rob a grave, they just take the shit that they want and then they fuck off and just leave an empty hole and whatever. Like, he would fill the grave back in. That's why it took him so long to get caught.
Yeah, he would just be like, I need a wind chime, so that means I need a couple finger bones, and I need all this. So
I need 6 ribs and, like, 2 toe bones.
Yeah, so he'd only take that much.
Yeah.
And then he'd just ladle the dirt back over and be like, thank you, Miss Johnson, I'll see you later.
Yeah. And then there was other times, like, he would almost snap back to sanity for a minute. Like he'd get like 3/4 of the way down into the grave, or like he'd get all the way into the grave and he'd see the dead body and think like, oh, this is fucked up. I gotta fill this back in. And then he would go back home and like sit on his couch made out of people.
Yeah, and just be like,
it's like, what am I doing with my life?
I should have got that thing full of teeth. Yeah. I needed it.
But okay, I'm not like I like creepy shit too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a pretty unabashed weirdo. I enjoy skulls. I think they're great. I've a bunch of like just I've decorated my private areas of my home with.
I prefer them more on a t-shirt.
See, my thing about doing the skull t-shirt is like it's a little white trashy.
Oh.
That's just me. That's just me.
I just won't show you my senior high school yearbook pictures then.
I know. Trust me. It's a fine line that you have to walk when you choose the particular lifestyle that I've chosen.
Yeah, that's true. Well, a man's got to make choices and he's got to have standards.
Yes.
And whenever you don't, you might have a little bit more of me, to be honest.
Just something nice, sleeveless.
Yeah, just something nice. It's like, if I had more tattoos, I would absolutely not wear sleeves ever again.
Nice. But like I've got some plastic and resin skulls laying around. And it's an aesthetic that I like. I find skulls actually to be like a very kind of a artistic, statuesque, kind of beautiful kind of thing, but at the same time creepy and metal, which is how I like to describe myself.
Yeah, I like Satan for that. I like to have a little picture, like I got a little painting of Satan.
Yeah,
somewhere.
No, I've got a plastic demon thing hanging on my wall. I've got a couple of Baphomets.
Yeah, terrified of Satan, but he looks real cool.
He's bitching. Mm-hmm. That being said, I don't own any. Like, I don't have like a lot of. I've got like a wet specimen like organ thing that my.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was bought 100% legally, like from an oddity shop that somebody gave me, and then I've got a raccoon dick bone that I was gifted as well.
That's just a Northeast Tennessee thing. That's an Appalachian Mountain thing.
Yeah. Apparently it's apparently they're lucky. I turned mine into a Christmas ornament.
They're lucky.
That's what I was told.
But anybody, you just run over a raccoon, you can just get it. I mean,
yeah.
Well, you got to dig it out of its cock.
Well, I mean, what else would you keep it for? Like, some people told me it's like as a toothpick.
Well, it's kind of bent, right?
Yeah,
you could use it for a fishing hook.
I don't know. No.
Not back in the caveman days. As soon as they were like done eating that raccoon, and they're like,
It's like, what are we gonna do with this cock bone?
Yeah, somebody's like, we're gonna catch us some fish, and that's probably how they got the whole. Never mind.
But anyway, but if you're into that whole scene of like having like taxidermy stuff and like the weird shit, the rarest stuff is to get stuff made out of people. And man, I came pretty goddamn close to. I for once in my life had a little more extra money at the end of the week, and the oddity shop where I buy a lot of weird shit happened to get a fresh set of human back, like a vertebrae. Yeah, they had some vertebrae that they had then mounted on sticks and put those sticks onto fucking like stands, like for display. Like a lot of this stuff is like stuff you would find at a doctor's office, but
yeah.
And I found myself holding one of them, and I was like, I can afford this, but like, do I want to live this life now?
Yeah. Oh, there's no turning back.
There's no turning back. Once you've got like human remains in your house, like as a decoration, it's hard to like. Not a lot of people want to fuck me because I live in a trailer with 3 other dudes right now. All right, that's a hard sell.
Then you fill it full of body parts.
But like once I've got him in the trailer, and then I get him into the bedroom, and they're like, "Wow, what's that?" And I was like, "It's funny you should bring that up. That's a human vertebrae."
Yeah, that used to be Uncle Roy.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to dry a vagina, I found.
Yeah, even some of the more creepy gals don't particularly care for a hand dangling from the ceiling.
Yeah. Like, again, the people that I'm, the gals that I have a predilection for. Again, they're usually okay with the skulls. They're usually okay with the fucking monster movie posters. People parts.
Yeah.
See, rough sell.
I mean, I guess that's my feminine side coming out. I'm pretty good. I'm not crazy about taxidermy just because those cold, dead eyes are staring at me. And if I wanted that, I would just go do one of my most favorite things that I love, and that's called stand-up. And I'll get those cold, dead eyes one way or the other. And I just... It would bother me just a little bit if you're like, check this out, and it's just like, a finger laying in your room.
Yeah,
I'd be like, I usually like to watch movies back here, but I'm just going to stare at that fucking finger the entire time and wait for me to wonder whenever my finger is going to be chopped off next to it.
Okay, and well, and here's the other weird part about like the whole thing is through the oddity store, and I've gotten to know the owner a little bit. In Tennessee, where we broadcast from,
Coming to you live.
live on tape delay. It is illegal to ship human remains for resale into the state. That doesn't mean you can't sell the human remains in this state.
Oh, so
you just have to figure out how to get them here, or you got to source them locally.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Which is the bad part.
Yeah. Maybe it's the good part. I mean,
well, no, because I think the intention of the law is like it was to slow down what is clearly a huge booming industry,
literally human trafficking.
Yeah, I'm sure it was designed to ruin the day of the 6 people that are into this. But,
yeah, man, there's so many people into it.
Yeah,
that's okay. So,
but by making it illegal to ship stuff here, all they're really doing is like making it fucking creating a black market for people parts.
or just having somebody in there, instead of signing the back of your license to be like, you want to donate your organs, just leave it in a will, just being like, hey, my creepy cousin Ted, take whatever body part he wants and put it in a jar for him or something and give it to him for Christmas.
There you
go.
And actually, so
put me in the freezer and just every year for Christmas give him a different part of my body.
Oh, we got a knuckle this year. And there's another thing is, like I would always like, I've never had to have anything removed from me surgically, thankfully, and knock on wood, it will remain that way. That being said, I'd always been curious. Like you hear those stories about like, oh yeah, I had my appendix taken out and they gave it to me in a pickle jar or something like that. Whatever, man. But I had always heard about that, and then like I go to like I said, the oddity store's got like they're called wet specimens when you have that thing in a fucking pickle jar, and it's just an alcohol and what have you. And a lot of the stuff they have is like, sheep's heart stuff like that.
A creepy eyeball. I've seen a creepy eyeball.
I gave an ex-girlfriend a fucking sheep's heart for Valentine's Day one year, because I'm a classy dude, and I was curious how they get those, and like, well, veterinarians are pretty good about just like, do whatever you want.
Just. The cat don't need it no more, so you can have it.
No, and like he says he only buys stuff that either buys it from veterinarians or he buys it from people that can prove that they got it from a veterinarian, which is good. You're not just out there parting out your cat.
Yeah, thank God.
That being said, apparently across this great land of ours, the when you have something removed, like anything that is taken off of you surgically, like even just like some wads of skin that they had to get out of the way to fix you, anything that is considered medical waste, even though it's you, like if you had to say you had to have your foot amputated, and you're like, well, give me the foot. The moment it leaves your body, once it becomes like it's sawn off, it from a legal standpoint becomes the property of the hospital, and it is up to the hospital whether or not you can have your foot.
That is,
yeah.
I wonder how many. Okay, let's say that. So Waylon Jennings in his later years, so he had really bad diabetes, and he was a coke addict, and all. He just didn't take care of himself, so he lost, I think, his left foot,
or
something like that.
He had a peg leg.
Yeah. I wonder if the great Waylon Jennings, if he was like, hey, I want to keep that fucking, or some other guy went, fuck, man, I'm a huge fan of keeping this foot.
I'd fucking buy Waylon Jennings' foot. Yeah. I love Waylon Jennings.
Something tells me, though, it won't be the country outlaw from the 70s foot that we...
It's going to be a gross old man foot.
It's going to be,
It's going to be a gross old man foot that had to be removed.
Yeah.
Like, and if it was still a good foot, it'd still be attached to him.
And if you've seen an old person that's lost circulation, and then, like, I don't have the best feet to begin with.
Oh, God, what if he's got, like, that big fucking nasty-ass, like, old man corn chip-looking
toenail. Yeah, that I'm working on pretty well. I have no idea why it happened to me, but it can happen. If it happened to me, it can happen to you.
My dad's a good old boy from East Tennessee, so the idea of fucking foot maintenance not high on his list of priorities. So, of course, he not only had, like, the calloused fucking gross Frito corn chipped toenail. Like his whole fucking, like his heel, like his whole foot was like chapped and weathered like a construction worker's hand.
Almost everybody in my family.
Yeah.
And they would be like, I'm going to soak my feet and then cut off the calluses.
Yeah, no. That's what, like, he didn't just cut off the fucking calluses. One day, for my mom got into, like, some weird arts and crafts stuff.
I don't know.
No, it didn't involve,
No.
The stuff she was doing, it was, like, clay and fucking stuff like that. It didn't involve, like, people feet or anything like that. But she bought one of those Dremel tools, like, there's a little, like, fucking tiny, what have you. So guess what my dad looked at that and decided to do? He started sanding his goddamn toe. Mm-hmm. And not just, like, the fucking toenail. Like, he was, like, the calluses and
edge.
shit. Like, yeah. He was planing down his foot.
Mine's nowhere near that bad, but my toenails just don't look great.
Yeah.
Like enough to where I was hanging out with somebody and she said, "Hey, don't you just have flip flops?" And I went, "No,
Oh Christ, no!
Let me pop these socks off." You're not gonna go, "Cool, why don't you show those off more?"
Yeah. My old man, like, it was to the point that, like, he would get the same hole in his shoe on top from where it was, like, poking through, like,
Just going through like a whale.
yeah, like a fucking egg tooth. Like, I finally broke down and asked him one day, I was like, why don't you just fucking do something about
You
that?
just grind it down.
Well, that's what he started doing with the Dremel tool. So I'm assuming it's not that big of a deal anymore now that the good people of Black & Decker have gotten involved. But before that, like, before he discovered that thing, and I was like, why don't you just fucking trim your toenails like everybody else? And he's like, well, once it got fucking big enough, like, and gnarly enough, it I don't want to say it gets a quick in it like a cat, but like he said, it hurts to do. So I just stopped. And I'm like, ugh.
If we learned anything from this story, is preventative maintenance is key.
Yeah.
As you grow into a man, woman, or both.
The old adage of live fast, die young, leave a good-looking corpse. That's not just for you, all right? That's for the people that might want your foot.
We're not telling you to kill yourself.
No. But if you're gonna,
do it young.
Yeah, do it young. Do it young. Leave yourself some nice parts.
Make sure you go out. You have some good professional photos made of you just, looking good. Maybe work out a little bit that day. Get swole.
Yeah.
Put on some makeup.
Get a pump on.
Get your pump on. Make sure they put some nice lotion on your face so you look a little dewy.
Yeah.
And then have your picture taken and then go home and do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
To meet the void.
But just, again, make sure your innards are in good enough condition that if somebody wants to put them on display.
That's another thing. Yeah. Just be considerate of other people around you.
Don't be a dick.
Exactly.
There's an old David Cross joke that I kind of feel not necessarily in agreement with, but I get like, sure. Which is like when he's talking about when he dies, that some people like give their body to organ donation, which is very noble. I'm an organ, like I signed the back of my driver's license.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you sign the back of your driver's license, by the way, guys, and then tell your family, because if your driver's license isn't around or whatever, they can't do anything without. Even if you have that they have to ask somebody.
Yeah, just so is it like a forged signature?
Yeah. Or, mistakes happen, or like maybe they change your mind. But tell your family that you want your organs, because like sometimes if they can do it, they've only got a matter of time, and if they can't find somebody to say it's cool, then your fucking liver's gone.
Yeah, you spoil quickly.
Yeah, we age like potato salad is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. You leave it sitting out, it's fucked.
So, friendly reminder, friendly tip, if you want to be an organ donor, fucking tell people. As I have. David Cross of the opinion is like, after they take all the organs that they can use and what have you, some people give the rest of their body to science, like for vivisection or like study or whatever. He says just give his to a bunch of necrophiliacs. Because he's dead, he doesn't give a shit. They need to fucking do something, and it's not like that's a itch that isn't going to get scratched, so somebody's got to do it.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never thought David Cross was immensely funny. I've always found him way more interesting, which this just backs that up. Just being like,
like just being very pragmatic. Like, you know what? Fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't care. We were talking about it not too long ago. It's you're basically, I don't give a fuck what you do to me once I'm gone. Make sure I'm gone, though.
Yeah.
Make sure whatever's inside me has gone.
Yeah. Plug me up to all the machines you can.
Yeah, do whatever you need to.
Yeah.
I mean, if you need to make me look like some sort of weird robot or something just to make Mom not cry or
Some
something,
kind of Weekend at Bernie's situation.
Yes. Oh, my favorite dance is the Bernie.
That's
my favorite dance movie.
That's what I want for my funeral is just like fucking, I don't even want like, I don't want a service. I don't want people coming around like in suits and what have you. But I do want like my nephew and his best friend to walk around with my corpse for 24 hours, like at a party, like
just slothing it or not sloth, whatever, just schlubbing you around.
Yeah, just
And
like
then-
put some sunglasses on me and a hat.
an old windbreaker.
Yeah,
Just be like, yeah, it's my Uncle Bernie.
yeah, and then just like that's you can have. That's how he has to get everything that I leave to him in the will. Is he has to. I want the full Weekend at Bernie's treatment.
And now you can have this wet specimen.
After you get drunk around my corpse in a bar, you can have whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, just go through, dig through.
Yeah.
What you don't need, just toss in the river.
Yeah. And then after that, I say after the necrophiliacs have their fun. After that, yeah, sure. If you want to make a lamp out of me or whatever.
Would
go for
you
it.
want your nephew to take you out before or after the necrophiliacs have their way with it?
Before.
It would have to be dude necrophiliacs too, because I mean, you're not going to get like after organs are removed, you're not going to get a boner.
I
What
don't
if
know,
that's
man.
one of the organs?
Rigor mortis. Rigor mortis.
I guess so, but we don't have a dick like a raccoon.
Oddly enough, yeah, human beings are one of the few mammals on this planet that don't have a bacula,
That don't have
which is the fancy science word for cockbone.
yeah, it's true. If only we. No, I'm kind of glad we don't.
Yeah.
I basically have one. I think
Ours works on like hydraulic pressure. Like we get excited. And this stuff is like
somebody cranks your arm.
no, it's the muscles that make up the human wang are very spongy, and it's not unlike what happens is blood flows into it, and then it just kind of fills up and expands.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's squeezing the base of one of those little stress things.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a little worry stone.
Yeah, it is. The more you rub it, the less you worry.
Yeah. But they have most other animals like they have like I mean we've all seen the red rocket on a dog. That's how their dicks work for the most part. It's just like they get excited and then like a piston comes out. You know?
I wonder why the good Lord didn't make us that way.
Probably because like he knows we're the risk of injury would seem too high.
Yeah,
we are a species that flies too close to the sun.
Yeah, we're not one of those ones that just come up and bite you on the back of the neck and then 30
Yeah.
seconds later it's over. We get down to business.
My roommate, without revealing too much, my roommate right now is currently rocking a fucking knee brace
Oh yeah, I saw that.
because he hurt himself fucking.
And it's weird.
Yeah, I haven't asked him the specifics as to how. I asked him, I was like, "Hey man, what happened to your knee?" And he was like, "I was fucking, and there was a mistake."
Yeah.
And I don't want any elaboration.
I imagine he was
frankly.
going for style points or something. Occasionally,
be.
all of us
Has
fucking
to
just
be.
cock up her leg or be like, "Hey, I saw this in a film once,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna try to do a fucking helicopter move while
Yeah.
stuck up in you."
Again, you fly too close to the sun. You Icarus.
Icarus, but except Icarus is now wearing a fucking RoboCop knee brace.
And I think it's like, knock on wood, maybe it's just my vanilla ass lifestyle, but I've never injured myself mid coitus. I have, and I've mentioned to you before, I've taken a stroke too far. I have swung the bat a little to the left, what have you, and for lack of a better term, bottomed out in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it doesn't feel good, but like I did not hurt myself. But if there was a bone in there, you could break the bone.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like-
It'd be hard to wear a cast.
Well, apparently, like your penis also, like it's doesn't have a bone in it, but like I said, when it gets all like full and engorged,
Blown up.
There is, for lack of a better term, a joint in there where where some like kind of like in your hands. Oddly, there are no muscles in your hand. It is all tendons and cartilage and stuff like that. And it gets, when you move your hand, you're actually twitching a muscle in your arm, which is pulling on it, which makes your hand flex.
That's where the mice that live in your brain, they pull those strings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not your dick, very similar. Or like if you've ever had snow crab legs.
Yes.
Okay. And they've got those long cord string things you can pull, and then it'll make the claw crack.
Yeah, it makes me very unsettled. Yes, it does. Yeah.
Once again, fucking, I can hear vaginas drying across the straight line.
I can't. If you made it any episode,
your dick works very similar. Again, and like there's muscle in there, but like there's not a lot of. It's not the same kind of muscle that's your arm that you can twitch and move it. That's why your dick's not prehensile. It's like you can't pick up a peanut with it.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That'd be a great parlor drink.
Hell yes, it would. But there is like a little joint in there, so like you can pop it.
You can pop your dick out of place.
Yeah, you
I've
can
heard
pop
about
it
this.
like a fucking knuckle. Like,
But I think it's like a knuckle.
yeah, like you crack your knuckles. Like, I'll try to get it on the microphone.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do one of those guys. You can do the same thing with like your dick joint.
Yeah, but it probably isn't as relieving.
No, it's not relieving at all. Apparently, it hurts like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, because I've heard about it getting popped out of place.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got to go to the ER and be like, hey, what were you doing? And then you got to make it up and be like, I bet there's like 4 or 5 girls. All
See, I would
different
try to go to
kinds.
the exact opposite route. I'd be like, look, I was fucking doing dishes, and it was a 1 in a million shot. I dropped a plate. I bent down to pick up the piece of the plate. I slipped in the soap.
And my rock hard boner went straight into the floor. Right to the linoleum.
My dick, out of pure reaction, saw me heading towards the ground and filled to the brim to break my fall.
So that,
Like a noble tripod.
so here I am looking like a fucking Mission Impossible thing, except I'm posted on my oh, I can't even say it. That is well, anything you have to just talk to the doctor that doesn't involve like, hey, I'm sneezing a lot. It's kinda, to me is embarrassing as fuck because somebody sits me down earnestly, looks me in the eyes, and then I have to be like, my butthole's bleeding or something like that, and then they're like, oh boy,
I've made a grave error.
yeah, tell me how your butthole's bleeding. I'd be like, out of it.
If I was that doctor in that situation,
Yes,
and if I was a proctologist,
sure.
I would not ask any questions about anything.
I'll just come in and be like,
Yeah.
I know why you're
Gotcha.
here.
Race car, like a Hot Wheels up there.
Or just if you're at the proctologist, you don't come in and go, what's the problem? I just come in and be like, you just bend over and let me look up in there. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll figure it out before you do. I went to fucking medical school for 8 years to look up your asshole.
I look at assholes all day. I know what they're supposed to look like.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you what's misshapen and shit in here. Let me take a look.
Yeah.
Where's my, what's it, speculums or whatever?
Oh yeah, the spreaders.
And they spread it out and they fucking look all the way into your
straight up in
stomach, I guess. Boy, this is...
Yeah. So Ed Gien.
yeah, Ed Gien. He,
Like the murders of Ed Gien are what we're fucking coming back to reality for.
yeah, this is how this shooting star lands on the fucking earth.
But no, yeah, this movie, it pretty much it's a blow by blow retelling of the Ed Gien story.
Except for, so they church it up, and I don't know which happened first, whether it be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or this movie, because there is a dinner scene.
Yes, which I think this had to come after the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
You would think
because they came out like this. We were reading the box earlier, and I read on the Wikipedia like this was made in Canada for like $200,000 by a guy who promoted concerts.
Yeah.
So like this seems like a money grab situation. So I think it was like in Texas Chainsaw when it came out, it blew up huge, but it wasn't supposed to. Like it was a big surprise.
Yeah.
So I think this was like a cash grab on that same like, for lack of a better term, Texas Chainsaw Mania.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, so it came out. Did Massacre come out in 74? I'm pretty sure it came out in 74.
They both came out in 74.
So if Chainsaw Massacre came out, let's say in February or March,
Yeah.
this one was put into production in April.
Yeah.
And it came out in September.
Well, the thing is, I mean, Texas Chainsaw, I think they only worked on, like, they actually shot for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And let's say they fucking did post for 2 months. That's being generous. So, like, we're looking at 3 months from frame 1 to being able to put this thing out. I get the same feeling out of Deranged that, like, they could have put this out in, like, 3 fucking months. So it's
Easily.
yeah. Let's say that Texas Chainsaw is released in February. You can get Deranged in front of a camera, shot, produced, and back onto the screens by summer.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Very easily. So, yeah, this has probably just been like, wow, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is blowing up. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Throw some money at
And
it.
that's- and that's
what
a
story were we going to make? Fucking Ed Gien. Who cares?
Yeah. That's fine. And like when you do something like that, like if you just do the fucking Ed Gien story, you don't have to develop the screenplay for very long because
it's already written.
Yeah, it was done already.
And you just steal that one scene of a girl at a deranged dinner party with a bunch of dead people.
Bunch of corpses and shit.
Yeah. I'll just go ahead and say I don't recommend this film.
I kind of do.
Do you kind of do?
Yeah.
I'm just saying if you already know anything about Ed Gien, I mean, there's really...
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if you're going to watch anything loosely, and I mean loosely based on Ed Gien, watch Psycho, watch
Psycho's
Texas
great.
Chainsaw.
Again, yeah, the trilogy of movies that he inspired, that and Silence of the Lambs. And they're all very different films. Very different films, which is why it's interesting they're all inspired by the same guy.
Oh, yeah, and if I didn't know that was inspired by Ed Gien, I would never guessed it.
Yeah.
You know, that Silence of the Lambs, Texas Chainsaw, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Psycho. No, actually, I wouldn't even know Psycho either.
No, well, yeah, because like they all took different parts of the story and twisted it into what they wanted. Oddly enough, this is like the most faithful adaptation, but it's like the least inspired.
Yeah, it's Deranged just tells the story.
Yeah,
that's about it.
But like I said, it's the drive-in version, the grindhouse version. Like there's the scene where he's they don't. If you know anything about Ed Gien, his relationship with his mother was turbo fucked up and turbo. I'm looking for like a real churchy word for he was too into his mom.
Yeah.
He was very obsessed with his mother. So when she eventually died, that's when he started digging up corpses, her corpse specifically, kept it in his house and this, that, and the other. And here, like, you see her die, but rather than like when an old person like just kind of dies, for like just kind of wastes away, it's not a super dramatic thing. Here, like he's trying to feed her pea soup.
But the greenest piece of it is disgusting.
Like some fucking PPG paints.
Yeah, it's like a thin version of fucking Nickelodeon slime. He's trying to cram in this old lady's gullet.
But like he's trying to feed her soup, and she's trying like in response, she is telling him that even though she seems to be very aware and clear-minded, that she knows she's gonna die within minutes.
Yeah, she is. She's like, I am dying.
And
I think at one point,
the last thing that she needs him to know is the thing that she's already been preaching at him for a while, which is that women are evil and full of disease.
Mm-hmm. And they'll steal your money.
They will steal your money. And also, by the way, I'm going to die right here in a hot second. Ed thinks that if he just keeps feeding her soup, she'll live. So she's like laying there trying to die, and he's just like pouring soup. Yeah, but pouring soup down her gullet, and then like she starts spitting up blood.
And not just a little bit. I mean, she's fucking spewing.
Like typhoid area amounts of blood. Yeah. Like it is almost The Exorcist. And like the most disturbing part about it isn't that she's spitting up the blood. It's that like he's still shoving soup in her mouth while she's spitting up blood, and it's mixing together. And like he's even like he takes the spoon and is like wiping blood off of her face with the spoon and putting it in her mouth like you would when you feed a baby.
You know what? I take it back. I recommend half this movie.
Again, this is the version of the like story that like if I was gonna make the Ed Gien movie, like I'm sure there have been attempts to make because serial killers are real popular and true crimes are popular. I'm sure there is the drama, empathetic version of Ed Gien floating around Hollywood right now.
I'm pretty sure there was one that came out in the 90s, and there was one that came out semi-recently.
Yeah,
where it just has the box covers. They'll say Bundy.
Yeah,
Gien,
I remember that. Like, it was a lot of his direct to video.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because
they tried to turn them into horror movies, which you can do, but it's hard to pull off.
You know, we should almost do a series of those.
All right,
let's
watch a couple first.
We're wasting hours of our lives anyway. Yeah, I mean, let's do that.
Okay. Jeremy Renner was in like a Dahmer movie that was supposed to be pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, that was his big first. Like, Jeremy Renner's a thing now.
Huh? I would never guess that because he's such a. Wait, did he play Jeffrey Dahmer?
Played Dahmer, yeah. Which is weird. Complete side story. Did you see the My Friend Dahmer movie?
No, I haven't watched that one. You know what? The reason why is I was going to go see it in theaters.
Yeah.
something would always happen, whether it would be like I get booked for a show, or so-and-so would go see it without me.
And it
all
was a
this shit.
limited release, so like it was
Yeah.
only in theaters for like a minute, and it was like it only played twice a day.
Yeah,
So-
stuff like that. So I never really got to see it, and I was like, this will obviously pop up on Netflix, Amazon Prime, or something, because they love those kind of art housey horror films. They'll pop them, they'll bring them in real quick, and they didn't, and I fucking forgot about it until you just mentioned it.
Yeah, eventually I did, because I was the same way. I waited for too long for it to be in theaters, and didn't get to see it in theater. So then I was like, well, it'll be on one of the streaming services eventually, and it never did. And then I got a code from Amazon, like, hey, you bought enough shit, here, watch a movie. So I cashed it in on that, because they had it on streaming, like you could rent it.
Yeah.
And you still can. Was not that big of a fan.
Really? Just a melodrama?
No, it wasn't even really so much a melodrama. I mean, it is, but it's based on a graphic novel that I really enjoyed. But the
True story, too, right?
Yeah. It was the graphic novel is written from the perspective and by a guy that went to high school, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
And was like as close as Dahmer had to a buddy. And the art style is very unique and cool, and it's mostly told from the friend's perspective and just retelling the story that as was told to him in the news, plus like the shit that he knew from knowing Dahmer. But the movie version tries to, because you kind of have to, you got to put it behind one person's perspective. You can't.
Yeah.
Short version is they try to make the audience surrogate Jeffrey Dahmer instead of Dahmer's buddy, and you do not identify with Jeffrey Dahmer in any kind of a way, because the way Jeffrey Dahmer was and the way like a lot of serial killers and sociopaths are is that they are very unlikable and unidentifiable and just very kind of plain and muted.
Very robotic people.
Yeah. So like you did not identify with Dahmer. You did not like the friends characters don't show up until almost halfway into the movie, and even then, like you don't really.
That even takes away from the whole name.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's fucking. It was just kind of boring. It didn't work, and it doesn't go into his murders. The movie actually stops with him picking up the first guy he's gonna kill.
Okay.
So like you don't like it's just a
they're
story.
They're like, yeah, CBS did the rest of this movie, so you're good.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just a very kind of boring story about this sad kid who drank a lot.
Yeah. Well, he did that even as he grew up. Like,
he did that in high school and shit.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of a big thing. It was like he'd obviously played around with taxidermy and shit like that. Like he dead animal stuff, and his dad was I can't remember if his dad worked at a university or if he worked at a chemical warehouse, whatever. But his dad had access to this stuff to bleach bones and shit like that. So he had this little shed. Like he always had like animal parts laying around and what have you.
And everybody was like, boys will be boys.
Well, for a while, yeah. And then eventually his dad did say, like, look, dude, what's up? What's going on here? To which his response was, it's the typical 70s to fucking through our generation's response to your kid being a weird and showing the signs of sociopathy. He burns down Jeffrey Dahmer's bone layer, for lack of a better term, because he knows this. It's like, you're being creepy and it's weird and I don't want to deal with it. So he burns it down, and then he feels bad. So rather than send his son to therapy or anything like that, he just buys him a set of weights.
Oh, just work.
Yeah, that was just like, it's like well, you work out, you get put some muscle on, maybe you get good at sports, you make some friends, maybe you meet a girl.
Yeah, maybe you'll stop mutilating animals and
it's like, just for lack of a better term, he just told him, like, please stop being fucked up.
was this just turning into
this is just serial
killers now? Well, he was gay, sort of.
Oh yeah, well no, I mean he was fucking gay. That was if you look into his case, like clearly this was a dude who was gay,
was hiding all kinds of things.
Yeah, he was gay and didn't know how to deal with it. So, like the people
pulling cats' arms off.
Kinda, yeah. Like he already had that like weird fucking gallows-esque sensibility, death hard-on kind of thing going on. So like usually a lot of guys like a lot of guys, but like serial killers like when they have this issue,
fellas. Whenever you get a boner out there for another dude, you're just like, I got to murder something. Got to get rid of this.
But no, guys like Albert Fish or child murderers or again in Gacy's case or Dahmer's case.
Gacy didn't kill any kids.
John Wayne Gacy?
Yeah.
All he did was kill kids.
No, not kids. I mean, he killed like
boys.
early 20s like Filipino boys and stuff, right?
That's Dahmer we're talking about.
Oh, damn it. Now
but Gacy's children.
No, it wasn't.
Dahmer was,
no, it wasn't children, though. It wasn't like little, like, school-age kids.
They were definitely
they were young.
Kids.
I mean, he was banging them, too, wasn't he? He was, like, banging their
He was also
corpses and
gay, yeah. The moral of the story that I'm trying to get at is a lot of these guys that, like, they have some kind of weird sexual thing that they don't know how to deal with. So when they fucking, when they get to fucking, when they exercise it, they either have to do it immediately before or after. They have to kill that person to get rid of the evidence, as dumb as that sounds, even though it makes another pile of evidence. I.e., I just fucked a guy. I can't deal with there being a dude out there that knows that I want to have sex with another guy.
So I'm going to murder him.
So I've got to kill the guy. Yeah. It's like they justify it in their head. They're like, it's just easier and better if I murder this person than this person telling my dad that I'm gay.
That's a fucking tough road to hoe.
Yeah,
right
that's yeah. That's why we don't understand it, because we are not crazy.
So you're right. So he killed 33 boys.
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy, that is.
John Wayne Gacy had a whole basement full of boys.
So as I was Googling that,
yeah,
I was typing it in, and I put "did John Wayne Gacy," and then it autofills, and it did the nicest thing ever, and it said, "Did John Wayne Gacy go to college?"
Yeah, it's
clown
important.
college.
It's important. John Wayne Gacy actually, he's another one of those kind of interesting guys. Again, interesting, not good. But he's an interesting dude in that, like, he got arrested a couple times for getting real handsy with some of the, like, coworkers and being real rapey with other men.
Yeah. Well, he got convicted of sodomy in '68 and had to spend 10 years in the state penitentiary.
Yeah, but after he gets out of jail the first time,
Which, sodomy. Well, I guess it is if it's
not consensual.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, in many states to this day, but certainly back then, it was still not. There were anti-sodomy laws.
People are against butt stuff back
then.
Yeah.
Man, people just didn't want us to explore. But no, like, after he gets out of jail, like, that's how the world was so different. You could just essentially reinvent yourself. Like, he became like a successful businessman.
Oh, yeah.
Was like in the Rotary Club, like kind of like getting into like local politics and
He's
shit.
a family man and shit. He covered up all his white power tattoos, I guess.
Yep. Actually, there's a picture floating around of John Wayne Gacy with, I don't remember if it was not FDR's wife. With
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yes. No, with Mrs. Ford or Mrs. Reagan. I can't remember which one.
Really?
Yeah. It was like she came to town and, like, said he was part of the, I can't remember if it was the Rotary Club or the Kiwanis or something like that, but like some middle America rich white businessmen's club. And wow. Yeah, she was there, and there's a big photo of them shaking hands, and
that's
pretty
like
cool.
Elvis meeting Nixon.
Yeah, except Turbo fucked up.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to take care of this right now. And we're back.
You gonna live?
Yeah, I think so. For some odd reason, there was just something there that was like, hey, don't bother him all day until he needs to speak into a microphone.
Been there. But, yeah, fuck. And, like, it's getting, I don't want to say cool and chic now, but, like, true crime has become...
Oh, true crime. I didn't know where that was going to go. So I was like, oh, Jesus.
It's become cool to fucking fuck a child and then murder him.
And then throw him up underneath your crawl space.
But no, like, I think people are starting to come out of the serial killer closet, for lack of a better term, because, like, within the last handful of years, especially amongst women, which is kind of awesome, but also, like, I kind of saw this along, because I had a sister and her friends and whatever. And the popularity of, like, Investigation Discovery and Dateline and all these, for lack of a better term, murder shows.
Yeah.
Being super duper popular on, like, Lifetime and, like, all these women targeted channels. Like, people are starting to get, like, yeah, it's real interesting to talk about these fucking monsters.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've tried to do it my whole life, but it's, once again, a good way to just run off friends.
Yes, that's the thing now. But now, just like, you don't necessarily run off friends. Like,
no, sometimes you get weirder people than you, and sometimes you're like, fuck.
Yeah, but then
you're running me off.
Then they're yeah. But then there are times, like, I've gone on fucking dates in the last, like, year. So, like, it'll get to be, like, a little quiet spot, and they'll be like, so, who's your favorite serial killer?
Yeah.
And it's perfectly fine. And they're like, oh, my God, here's the reason that I love Richard Speck.
Yeah. Richard Speck didn't necessarily serial kill anybody. Well, he did more of a mass murder.
Yeah.
Thing, right? The co-ed killer?
Yeah.
Or not co-ed killer. He just killed a bunch of sorority girls, right?
Yeah. That's a co-ed.
Yeah, I guess they could have been co-ed, sure.
Yeah.
Wasn't he, like, notorious for having, like, a little bird or some shit, or was that a different guy?
I'm not familiar with that.
Might be a different guy, because they even portrayed that. That's what made me think of it in that Netflix series called, it's about the people that learned how to profile serial killers.
Oh, Mindhunter.
Mindhunter, yeah. And they had him in there, and they were, like, breaking him down and stuff, and he was like, ugh. And he had this little bird that they said he, like, nurtured ever since it was, basically fell out of its mama's tree, and he's like, no, I'm going to keep this bird or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And then he took it and he threw it in a fan.
Jesus.
Yeah, because he was mad. He's like, I don't give a fuck about nothing. See, here's the only thing I love. And that, for some odd reason, I was like, I know I've heard about, like, a dude. Maybe it was the Birdman of Alcatraz or some shit. I don't know.
No. I mean, shit if I know. So maybe. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So maybe I'm not totally crazy.
So, you know what? Go ahead and tweet us at BloodCamper. Who's your favorite serial killer
actually,
and why?
That would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, all two of you that are going to do that,
if you're
thank
still
you
here
in advance. If you haven't been murdered yet.
Yeah.
Or you haven't just given up and been like, I wanted to listen to a movie podcast, and these two guys just explained the anatomy of a raccoon and a human dick.
Yeah. And why they're different, but very special in their own way.
But special, yeah. They're all equal under the eyes of God.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man, like we all have what we call the talk in 5th grade. Like that when they separate out the boys and the girls and explain to you how fucking works. I really think
we watched a video for it.
Yeah, we watched a video and then we had a nice long talk with in our 5th grade class in my elementary school. There were no 5th grade male teachers. Oh, so yeah, it had to be one of the female teachers, and then Mr. Dial, this really awesome but grossly underpaid male intern. For like I think they called him a student teacher or something.
Oh, okay.
But like one of those people that's only there for a couple of months.
Yeah, he just comes in and decides, he goes, I don't want to do this.
Yes.
I'm going back to school for something else.
No, it's like they send him around to different schools, and so they're getting different experiences. It's kind of like going through interns at a hospital.
Yeah.
But like this guy had to like teach a bunch of fucking 11-year-olds about their body.
He just come in and be like, you guys are getting ready to get real fucking hairy and stinky. Yeah. And then he just points at that other kid, like Jacob.
It's like, he's already there.
You failed a couple of times, haven't you?
But I feel very bad for this guy now because I'm 33. The dude couldn't have been more than like 24.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So he's like, oh, God damn it. And they don't get, like, teachers don't get paid shit. This guy had to have been like making
negative money.
Yeah, he's paying for this privilege.
He's gonna be like, okay, so it's my first day here. What are we going to do? Well, you're going to teach all the boys why they get boners.
Yeah,
and be like,
and I'm gonna tell you right now, if they'd have brought in fucking like the fucking dick bone of a raccoon and passed it around, it'd have been a lot. It'd have broke the ice. It'd have broke the tension.
Boys, I know you think you're getting boners. But Ricky the raccoon.
let me show you what we call a boner. And then he just starts tapping it on the desk.
He scratches it down the chalkboard.
Anyway, so if you have your own dick bone stories,
you can find us at BloodCamper on
Twitter.
Twitter, I always get that one.
Not Instagram. Let's not do
Rob already just puked in his mouth over that. I say fuck it. Send it to us at Letters from Camp Blood on Instagram. You can email it. No.
Yeah,
just
don't
leave it out in the open.
Yeah, if it's something you need to contact us privately.
Yeah,
just don't contact us.
Absolutely. Call a doctor or something like that. And if you do send it to us at our Gmail address, which is so easy to find, because it's just the show's name.
Yeah, lettersfromcampblood@gmail.com.
We'll just post it to Instagram.
Yeah.
So
if it's fit to post, that's kind of what maybe we should do. Fucking Instagram. If send us your dick bone pictures on Instagram. Because if Instagram, you can't show like nudity or violence or anything like that. So like, if it doesn't meet Instagram standards,
that's true. I would love for this.
Fucking
to be,
Twitter's a wild west.
If you have dick bones all over your home, just laying around, and you have a pretty neighbor or something, have her come over and just model these dick bones and send them to us, and I think that'll be fun.
Hey there, campers. It's your junior woodchuck counselor, Rob Hot Sauce Haynes, breaking in to tell you we had some minor technical difficulties. And by that, I mean I fucked up and the card filled up and I didn't realize it. And we had to swap out SD cards and we lost a chunk in the middle. But it was just a bunch of asinine rambling. So I think we're going to be good. Anywho, here's the rest of the episode, and thanks.
At least nobody needs to hear any of that, and I'm glad that it just went out into the ether, and we don't have to worry about it. But here's something you can worry about. We're not playing Fuck, Marry, Machete because there was basically only 5 or 6 people in this movie.
5 or 6 people, yeah. Only a handful of them were fuckable.
Well, yeah, 2 of them, definitely.
Yeah. And one of them was hot. The other one, man, I'd have taken a crack at that crazy lady. That's my confession for the thing. At one point, there's this woman who like they try to fix fake Ed Gien up with.
Oh boy.
Who talks to her dead husband?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
I think she was just using it to fuck Ed Gien or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Ezra.
Ezra. Yeah.
But it feels like there should have like. That seems like a long con way to get fucking somebody to get up in them guts.
Hey man, I went home. I was seeing a girl for a little while, and I didn't know where it was going to go. And she got me to go home with her because she swore that the house she was living in, that she had just moved into, was haunted. And it's not a lie, not a lie whatsoever.
See, but like
I'll
that
show
feels,
you a picture of the girl.
It
was real, and that's the first night we slept together over a tumultuous 4 or 5 month relationship, if even that. And yeah, it was very odd because she was like. Got me in the house and was like, hey, the reason why I want you to stay here is because this house is haunted. And I was like, I do not want to stay here. This house is haunted. I was like, I have no desire to be bothered by ghosts.
But she's like, I'll touch your dick. And then you're like, okay.
And I was like, yeah, that's what happens. You just, whoa.
See, but that's the thing. That's the thing, though, is like as a lady, dudes we're dumb, we're horny. That's fine. Yeah. That's who we are as a people. Which makes me think, before you bring the supernatural involved, I'm not saying you might not need to, but before you bring on other planes of existence, you could probably just like ask first, like, "Hey, do you want to
go fuck in a haunted house?"
Yeah,
and I'd be like,
"You don't even got to say haunted house. You just got to be like, hey, do you want to go fuck?"
I'd be like, 50% of that I do want, just not in a haunted house.
You do not have to bring the spiritual plane to it. So I think this lady could have just asked Ed Gien to fucking knock the dust out of it.
Yeah,
and he probably would have. She didn't have to light candles and do voices.
She did a seance where her husband possessed her. Yeah, to ask Ezra, or as we like to call him, a Ed Gien impersonator.
Yeah. Go bot Ed Gien.
Be like, hey, and her voice even got deep like a band's, where she was like, but not like a voiceover. It was just her deep in her voice.
This was like her cartoonishly like, ooh, I'm Edna Krabappel's husband.
Yeah, and
touch her titty.
And he was like, and Ed Gien made a bunch of weird faces and went, oh, yeah. And then he took her in the bedroom, saw some flashes of his mom, and shot her. That being said, if you're a fan of Ed Gien stuff, watch this film.
Yeah, I say if you're not, it's a worthwhile endeavor.
And you can walk away from it, especially now. You can walk away from it at any moment. I think it's kind of hard to find, I would imagine. I don't see it just laying around anywhere.
It certainly, like I said, it is not ballyhooed enough to the point that you and I had never really heard of it until today.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, if you really want to go out and seek this movie, that's on
I
you.
recommend it. I say do it.
I'm saying, do whatever you want to.
That's the most diplomatic. It's like, I'm not saying Rob's wrong, but
I'm not saying it was a bad movie. I'm just saying, I mean, it was between this or we could have watched Halloween 3.
Yeah.
And I chose Deranged. because we'd never seen it.
Still a good choice.
I've seen Halloween 3. It's been a very long time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's next time.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I think Halloween 3 is better than you remember.
That's, I didn't think Halloween 3 was bad. I just wanted to see something I hadn't saw.
Okay. Well.
I mean, this is all on me. We accidentally watched an Ed Gien movie.
Yeah, that's fine. It was fun.
It's fine, yeah.
It's fun. We got then it got us to talk about creepy shit.
Oh, if
we love creepy shit.
Absolutely. If we had a star rating on here of some sorts, I would give it. Oh boy, it's hard to give any.
I'd give it 3 out of 5 raccoon dick bones.
Yes. Oh, I'll give it 2.5 raccoon dick bones.
But yeah, fucking, I say seek it out and let us know what you think about it on the Twitter at Bloodcamper. Again, please refrain from dick bone pics unless they meet Instagram standards.
Or they're creative.
Yeah,
I'll say if they're artsy.
If you want to have fun with it.
Yeah, but also
in the spirit of Ed Gien, if you want to make some kind of handicraft.
Oh, that's even better. No. There's gonna weird.
No. Fuck it. Make bone crafts and then send them to us.
Just don't kill anything.
Yeah, no.
If you have a pet or something, or there's like a cat in your neighborhood that you don't like, don't kill it.
Yeah, I don't want fresh bones.
Because other people probably like that cat. That's all I'm saying. Or dog, or anything.
Or whatever.
Person, whatever. Just
the slow kid.
If you here's what you do. You go to your local butcher shop. That's right. Your grocer's freezer, your butcher shop, and you just go, hey, I'm going to make a soup or something. Y'all got just a bunch of animal bones, not the same kind of animal. Yeah, a bunch of different ones, and they'll probably
whatever you got,
and they'll probably give them to you for a discount rate. Yeah, and you bring those home, and fucking whittle on them. Whatever you want to do. You could build a house out like a little dollhouse. Yeah, anything you want to do.
Whatever. Then send it to me. I'll put it up.
And then, Rob will actually put it in his living room. Yeah. I'll look at the pictures. I did take a shot of bourbon out of a cow bone recently.
Nice.
That's pretty neat. My friend taught me into going to a fancy place because we have friends that work there. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We got a little bit of a discount. We didn't have to pay fancy prices.
There you go.
I put on a button-up shirt. And
your fucking majesty.
I know. Oh, dude, I was living it up. I was like snapping my finger at people. I was like, you know how much I have to pay to no. And so somebody's like, let's get bone marrow. So I figured it would be bone marrow extracted from a bone and put on a plate for me to consume. No.
And that wasn't a turnoff for you.
No, not at all. I've eaten cow tongue and all kinds of shit. Yeah. And it looked like a tongue. And so they brought out this giant bone and some pieces of bread and a little fork. But it was a cow's leg bone, and those are pretty stout legs. Yeah. Then I ate it all, and it was very tasty. I highly recommend it, unless you're a vegetarian. Yeah. And then somebody said, hey, you got to do the luge. And I was like, don't even talk to me about the Olympics. And then they said, no, we're going to give you a nice shot of bourbon, and you're going to pour it down channel.
The femur.
The femur. It was definitely a femur. And you're going to drink this bourbon.
That's metal as fuck.
And I said, I've never done that. My friend said, I have. Here, I'll give you the Bob Barker Inspirational Putt.
So it was during, like, they poured the bourbon down, like, the hole.
Down the channel. Yeah. Of this fucking.
Not like the groove on the outside.
No, so they cut a bone in half. Yeah. And, and that's where the marrow is.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so like the little half pipe.
Yeah, like a luge. Yeah. And so he did it. He poured most of it all over himself. Yeah. And I said, stand back. I think I know how to do this.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. And, dude, I nailed it. And that was good as fuck. The only thing that was weird about it that kind of bothered me, one is a cascade of liquor hitting you in the face while you're holding an animal's greasy bone, which is weird. Yeah. But also, there's still gristle and stuff in there that I didn't get. And there was liquor-flavored gristle fucking slapping my tongue. And that was a little off-putting. He took a video of it, and I nailed it, like most of the shot, and then set it down to kind of deal with the fact that I'm eating chunky liquor.
I had to go fucking collect myself.
Yeah, I had to collect myself, and then everybody else thought it was over, and I was like, no, I'm taking the rest of it down this fucking bone. And I did, and I felt pretty all right.
That's fucking gnarly as fuck, but that also doesn't sound like something you'd do at a fancy restaurant. That sounds like something you would do at the places I hang out.
Yeah, that is true. It's like fancy stuff, but you can still just dress like a a normal and walk, and you just dress regular. You know what I mean? You don't have to put on like a monocle or anything to go.
Yeah.
In. And we sat at the bar.
Like a tasteful Scorpions shirt.
Yes, a brand new one. I want to see a crease in it. But yeah, that's what I've done recently.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, that sounds great.
I've accidentally stolen from Walmart, and I've drank liquor out of a
So help me
bone.
God, I'm going to go get a fucking bone, and it's going to be the house shot at fucking Salem's Lot.
Dude, if they didn't, I guess they don't really, they don't, like, decompose very well.
Bones?
Yeah. So,
No, I mean, like I said, I think you got to treat them like, but there's bones laying around.
Get the meat out of them and stuff. That would be great, and make people do the luge. Because he just took it home to his fucking dog, and he said the dog was super happy, even though it was probably because it was full of liquor and gristle. I would imagine.
Liquor and gristle.
Liquor and gristle. I think we just found our new podcast.
Mm-hmm. Again, that's our new vaudeville act. Hello there, liquor. Hello there, gristle. But give us a shout at all these.
Oh yeah, we
media.
were trying to wrap up. I'm sorry.
No worries. No, fucking worth it. Worth it.
We've already had a malfunction and me being like, no, listen.
We lost, because we kept going for a real until the card was full. So, we went on for 15 minutes. Smooth.
Oh,
this was way better.
Yeah.
So we never would have got here.
That's true. We would never.
You'd have just fucking expounded, I accidentally stole something. It was kind of fun, whatever. Fucking liquor bone, way better.
That is.
Way better.
You should, we should go down to, here in lovely East Nashville, Tennessee, not Indiana. Go to the Porter Road Butcher and ask that local butcher how many bones do you have that we can drink liquor out of? And do you
have a good liquorable bone?
do you have a good shot bone back there? Because I'm looking to get fucked up.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're gonna go do that. Go give us a shout at leadersfromcampblood@gmail.com, on Facebook and Instagram at leadersfromcampblood, and then of course Blood Camper on Twitter. And then you can find me personally at Rob Haynes, HAYNES, on all that bullshit.
All the bullshit for me will be at the Josh from TN, and I look forward to hearing from you, seeing dick bones, or I mean, if you just want to take pictures of creepy stuff and send to us too, that's fine.
I'm 100% fine with that.
Yeah. Just tag Letters from Camp Blood.
Okay, my fucking Instagram feed right now is predominantly creepy shit, creepy fucking taxidermy shit, creepy special effects shit, hot chicks.
Mm-hmm. Gotta have those.
Then people's kids.
That's just growing older.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I had to, at one point, for some odd reason, I went, I'm going to follow some porno girls on Instagram, which makes no sense. They have all their clothes on.
Yeah.
And I could just click off Instagram and go straight to whatever site and watch them, doing the Lord's work. You
can see their fucking gums.
But it was weird. You see cartilage snap. But you could, it started bothering me primarily because I would be scrolling through and I'd be like, oh, my cousin's kids. And then the next one would be a beautiful girl spreading out.
Yeah.
Where I'm
you can see her asshole, but she has to put a fucking emoji over
a
it.
little dot or something. And I'm like, oh boy, that's a weird juxtapose.
Mm-hmm.
I can't handle it. So I had to get rid of all my family members on.
So, that's where we're at, guys.
Mm-hmm. And we hope you are too.
Join us, man. Let your creep flag fly.
Wait, you're going to say that one more time.
I was trying to say creep flag.
Yes, I know.
Let your creep flag fly.
Nailed it.
Thank you. See you guys.
Ta-ta.